welcome everybody. My name is Joel Dyck. I'm here with Sandy Sissons, and we get to talk a little bit. Sandy's an entrepreneur here in Saskatoon. As you can see, we are in Sandy's garage. So Sandy, tell us a little bit about your business.
Oh, I'd love to. We are in the garage, and that's what we call it. The garage was created when I was a mom with 3 little girls, and I was part of a company called Bikini Boot Camp, and we would run outdoor boot camps. And when it got to temperatures like this, we'd have to cancel and try and reschedule and fit everything in. And with 3 little kids and a very busy husband, that didn't get to be a reality for me. So we converted our garage, in which we've run boot camps out of, we ran kids camps out of, so we've got a pool in the backyard where I'd have cheer instructors come in, or Pilates instructors, or bring in some different physical activity leaders. And that's what we did with the kids in the summer, because my girls didn't want to go to camp. And that's kind of how things have evolved here in the garage. So we've hosted things like the Saskatchewan Parks and Recreation fitness leader certifications. We've had yoga instructors in here doing clinics. We still run small group training classes out of it. And it's all been kind of by referral. So it's been awesome how it's evolved.
Pretty cool. Yeah, you've had, I can see you have obviously a lot of equipment, and it's grown over the years. Like, how did it start compared to how it is now in terms of classes, equipment? What does that growth kind of look like?
Well, you know what, it's really interesting. Pre-COVID, we had lots of classes going through here, morning and evening. And again, it was mostly word of mouth, where it was, you know what, I'm gonna run some classes, anybody interested? And we just slowly started to create this box, almost like a little CrossFit box, where as we had more people coming in, we had to get a little bit creative with what we had. We had Glendon Hall come in and do all of our rigs for us. I had gone and gotten my booty bar certification, so then we had the bars put against the wall. I wanted to create that place where at the end of the month, when moms or dads or families are like, okay, what do we have left to do the other stuff, like gym memberships, or with kids now, dry land training stuff that wasn't going to break the bank. Sure. So that's kind of become the essence of here in the garage. We are at the end of the month, what do you have left? That is all you need to come into the garage, and we'll put you through your paces.
Great. So you said you're mainly referral based. So what's your main clientele right now?
Right now it's mostly females. I do have a couple of males that'll pop in and out just for, I just need a fix. Lots of brand new and those returning back to the gym that just want to make sure technique is solid and that their comfort level is back, and the accountability, right? It's so easy to go to a gym by yourself, but if you're not a class person, going into a weight room can be intimidating. It doesn't matter how much you've worked out, right? So coming back into the garage, we do a return to gym program where it's like, let's get you set up, let's introduce you to the free weights. The machines are pretty straightforward, but it's building that comfort, building that accountability, and then at the end of the 8 to 12 weeks, it's you're good, fly. You're
That's
good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So lots of education. And I see, we've got some aerobic equipment here, obviously lots of strength, pull-up bars, you got everything here you need. So what would, if I came for a workout, what could I expect? What do you think that would look like?
Oh, I love it. It would totally depend on your goals, Joel, but we would typically do some type of warm-up, whether it's through a mobility type of warm-up stretch. We might even put you on the cardio machines for a little bit, and then we would go into different blocks, whether it's working push-pull, working supersets, whether we use a AMRAP type program or as many rounds as possible, or interval-based, or a traditional 3 rounds of these particular exercises. But again, I take a look a lot at functional movement. So how's your body moving? I do a lot of the kind of the hands-on correction, if necessary. If my words, and believe me, we've had lots of conversations that when words fail me, sometimes it has to be that hands-on and just feel here type of stuff. So it really could be something where initially your session might be like an hour. That's typically what happens with personal training. You have an hour session. In the garage, ish. We always run on ishes.
Yeah.
So some sessions might be an hour, some might be an hour and a half based on what we saw, but the workout would get completed. Awesome. So you're gonna have to schedule some time for me.
For sure. And what's the vision? What do things look like? Are you at a spot where you want to be? Do you see more opportunity in the future for the garage? What do you see?
Oh, that is such a good question. We ran online classes during COVID and really kind of burnt me out, burnt clientele out, because the garage is very much like a timeout space. The people that we attract here in the garage are people that are coming to sort themselves out. What happens in the garage stays in the garage. There's always coffee on, so the coffee comes out, and there's been sometimes we've just had conversations, right? It really is that mental health piece that I can give back with my passion. Again, what is the vision? Coming back, it is working with people that want and need a safe place to be authentic in their physical health. With physical health is going to come that mental health component. Here in the garage in December, we do a 30 workouts and 30-day challenge for our fantastic partners with Darren Anderson with Love My Mind. It's such a important piece. So that's kind of where we want to go with it. I want to start bringing in some of our youth that are needing that safe place. And we've got lots of fantastic facilities out there. But when you go into those big facilities, it's intimidating. And here in the garage, it doesn't have to be. We are authentic. We get to be flawed in here. We get to be politically incorrect sometimes in our conversations, but everything's coming from a good place. And when people leave here, they've burnt off some stress, they've sorted themselves out, and they're ready to go for the day.
For sure. I know myself, when I go to work out, I'm looking for a nice outlet, and lots of people are looking for community, and what better place to find that in someone's home. So pretty cool opportunity.
And you know what, I'm super lucky, because here in the garage, you become family. And this is where I get to do a lot of my one-on-one, my connecting with people through workouts. And then even when I teach my classes out in Martinsville at Soul Power, we had a gym here years ago called Mawson, and that gym was the essence of a community. It had everything you needed in a community and more. And those are spaces that are now starting to take that over for me. And it's been a long time to find that vibe, find that atmosphere where it's like, yep, this is where I need to be right now. So we're hoping that the garage is that for people and those that are looking for a place that they know they want to work out, they're not sure what that looks like. Come and see us. We'll figure it out with you, and then be able to recommend where a good fit might be for whatever their goals are.
Cool. So maybe just walk through that a little bit. So I hear about the garage, or I stumble across it online, engaging with it and being part of that community. What would that look like, and how would you engage with a new member?
Well, that's awesome. So what we would do is a new member would reach out, whether it's through our Facebook page or personally, and we would set up a time to meet, and we'd have a conversation about your goals. We'd have a conversation about your time commitment, what that looks like, what's going on in life, what you need from the garage, what we can offer to see if it's a partnership, and then build from there. And if it's something where it's I've got kind of crazy times, or here's what I'm looking for doing, if it's something that I can't offer here in the garage at that particular time because of life here, then I've got these fantastic trainers that I can recommend, and places that I can send people that have got goals bigger than the garage, or send that connection to once we've built the foundation here in the garage.
Sure. Yeah. Awesome. I know you've got an active family, you've done a lot of coaching background in different sports and some of your education that's, phys ed specialist. Maybe just speak to that and how that ignited a bit of your passion to start the garage.
Oh, so you know what? It's so funny because I started teaching group fitness classes back at Quantum Fitness in 1992. So just a few months ago. And so I went down to Minot State actually for a corporate fitness degree, and they offered it here, but it was a master's program. So I'd gone down there, and part of our phys ed program down there, we had to teach little kids different fitness stuff in order to get some of our practicum stuff. And that was kind of fun, and I kind of liked that, and that was great. And then came back and fell into my practicum that was up here, and then was fortunate enough to be offered a position. And I went to high school because I wanted to coach, loved coaching, and I had the energy to coach. So then transfer forward 15 years, and now I've got 3 kids on my own and wanted them to be active and wanted them to be part of it. I'd had the opportunity to be with a company called Bikini Boot Camp, where it was outdoor conditioning camps for women, and we would have family days. And so at that time, Madison maybe was 2, and she would come and do the little workouts with us, and I'd bring them to volleyball and they'd be around the coaching world. So they always were part of that physical activity area. Then getting to the point where my kids didn't want to go to summer camp, and I was like, for the love of everything in the world, I need my kids to have other kids to freak out with. So we started running day camps out of the garage, and that's kind of how the whole passion to bring in everything together. I had started my PhD where I was looking at, as a high school phys ed teacher, I was blown away by the fact that I had to teach grade 9 kids how to do jumping jacks and walking in opposition and properly squatting.
Yes.
We've seen that in different levels of activity. Even like moving backwards safely is mind-blowing. But I decided I was going to go do my PhD and look at the physical fitness of kids in our primary grades, and to see if our curriculum matched positive outcomes coming from our current curriculum. And I realized at that stage it just wasn't the right time in my life to be doing that. But I still wanted to work with little kids. I'd spent 23 years in the high school, and I loved my experiences in the high school, but it was time for a change. My kids were getting to that age where they were getting ready to get into high school, and us in the same age group, not gonna happen. So I was fortunate enough to have a superintendent that was like, Sandy, I've got a spot for you. Phys ed specialist, K through 8 at one of our P3 schools. Are you interested? And it was like, yeah.
That's cool. I know I've been in the education system a little bit in some phys ed, and the more you can, I guess, trick kids into not knowing what they're doing, making it fun, but they're working on strength, fitness, movement patterns is pretty cool. So.
And it's so interesting because you've got some kids that you can tell have got opportunities outside of school for sport and physical activity. And then you have some that don't for whatever reasons, but when you're in the gym, it doesn't matter. Nobody actually cares, because especially in that primary age, we're so busy just working on fundamentals and balancing things out and working on opposition. And that's awesome. You can throw with your right hand. Can you do that same thing with your left? Like putting that type of stuff in is really stuff that I like to throw at kids, regardless of skill level, because it's amazing. There's always those diamonds in the rough that it's like, this is us. I didn't know I could do that. Well,
I know I thank you that you're a phys ed specialist at young ages, because as someone who coaches, at a higher level, having kids that can throw is pretty significant to transfer to different skills and different abilities, especially the sport of volleyball, which we have a connection with.
Absolutely. It's always interesting. I even think of jumping. I mean, how often do we see our players and it's like, what do you mean you don't know how to jump? And it's mind-blowing, and we've seen this. The earlier you can get those fundamentals down pat.
For sure, foundation is really important. Maybe I'll just get you to finish with, one challenge. You talked about COVID a little bit, but a challenge, in your business journey, and then maybe finish with a success story or something exciting.
For sure. So one of the biggest challenges coming from COVID was having people still engage. Most of our classes during COVID were like the 5:30 a.m., 5:45 a.m. And it started off strong. And then as COVID went on, the shutdown started, where you got to see the stress that happened on people. And again, at that time, I had predominantly moms. That was a real big challenge. And then when all the restrictions started to lift, trying to navigate between what one public health nurse was saying was okay with another one, then you had different people's beliefs or takes on what was being asked of us to do, really created a burnout here in the garage, where I had to put myself in timeout and just get back to the essence of the garage. Why did I start the garage? What is in it for us? And you know what? The biggest success is always having people, is the garage still on? Do you think I can come back for a workout? I've had a couple ladies, our couple groups that have started have been because of former garage ladies saying, you know what, Sandy, I got some friends. Do you think that you could run us a class? Yeah. None of us really want to go to the big gyms because we want to work out together, but we don't want all that great big space. Yeah. So that's kind of a fun thing about the garage too. And so getting to see some of the dynamic relationships that get to be established and nurtured here in the garage is huge.
Leads to accountability, encouragement, all these good things that help people achieve their goals.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sandy, so much for taking your time. Thank you for giving up your garage on these cold winter days so people can come and reach their goals. What a great place to start your day here in the garage. You can find Sandy on Facebook and reach out if you're interested in checking it out.
Absolutely. We've got a Facebook page. It's called The Garage, or Sandy Sissons. Feel free to friend me, and I'd love to have you come visit us here in the garage.